everyone, I hope you're all well. A big hello to all the new subscribers. Keep on coming and supporting this channel. You can also support this channel now by becoming a patron via Patreon. Have a look at the announcement video that I've released earlier for more details. For those of you that have already signed up, thank you, and I look forward to creating some exclusive features for the patrons. Of course, the Evora series will continue for everyone here on YouTube. Okay, so in part 4 we are moving on to the middle section of the car and what's contained within that section. The largest part of that is the tub. The Evora tub is manufactured from aluminium, employing a process first used on the Elise. The Elise tub weighs in at 74 kilos, so it's very lightweight. The tub consists of alloy panels and extrusions bonded together using rivets and an epoxy adhesive, which is then baked in an oven at 200 degrees centigrade. This cures the adhesive. Once cured, the adhesive is as strong as the surrounding metal. So why didn't Lotus weld it together instead? As the aluminium is anodized to provide corrosion resistance, it can't be welded and maintain the coating. Another reason is that welding will change the properties of the alloy because of the heat applied. I also think that the joint looks neater and aesthetically better than a welded one. Well, the joints that are on show anyway. Some of the joints that are not on show don't have this attention to detail and look as though it's just been splodged on, but it still does the job. Once all the panels are bonded, the Evora tub is one of the stiffest made and is 1.5 times stiffer than the Elise and Exceeds tub. A perfect platform to develop ride and handling as only Lotus can. The tubs were delivered to Hethel from Lotus Lightweight Structures in Worcester. This plant is now closed and has just relocated to a site at Hurricane Way near to Norwich Airport, in a factory once occupied by a company called Heatray Sadia, manufacturers of central heating boilers. There is only one version of the tub and is produced to suit either right hand drive or left hand drive by duplicating the position of the pedal box on the front bulkhead. The weight of a bare tub is 105 kilograms, that's 231 pounds. Funny thing about weight and how Lotus often quote simplify then add lightness. The Evora GT430 Sport comes in at 1340 kilograms and the 1995 Esprit S4S comes in at 1339. Likewise, the Evora 410 Sport comes in at 1325 and a 1993 Esprit Sport 300 at 1306. Just seems strange to me that a modern car with an aluminium tub, lightweight composite and carbon fibre panels, a lithium-ion battery, lightweight seats, only a V6 engine, is heavier than a car with a steel backbone chassis, thick fiberglass body, comfy leather seats, a lead acid battery and a V8 engine. Looks like instead of simplify then add lightness, it was complicate then add weight. Incidentally, the 2009 Evora came in at 1382 kilograms. The Evora 400 came in at 1395. So, back to the tub. Absolutely no repair should be attempted on this if it is damaged in an accident. The front and rear subframes should do their job in protecting the main tub in an accident. When assessing the condition of the tub after an accident, pay particular attention to any of the bonded joints. If there is any sign of cracking in the adhesive, then consider it at risk. You cannot rebond any joints or weld the tub. If the tub is damaged severely, the only way to replace it is with the partial body from the factory. Lotus do not supply a bare tub. The tub carries an 8-year warranty against corrosion, but of course, like all manufacturers, this is if it corrodes from the inside out. Attached to the tub on both sides is all the pipework for things like cooling, brakes, clutch pipes, oil lines, power steering, etc. These are all attached using stainless steel brackets, and the pipework is held in closed cell soft rubber mounts to ensure no moisture absorption and protect against corrosion. Most of these pipes are aluminium or steel and have 90-degree ends to them. So if any of them get damaged or start leaking, you will need to remove the body side to replace them. Not an easy job. Contained within the tub is the fuel tank underneath the rear seats. The fuel tank from start of production is manufactured from stainless steel and is fully baffled, a bit like me sometimes. Within the tank is a submerged fuel pump and fuel level sender assembly. Pumps for the normally aspirated and supercharged cars have different flow rates, the supercharged one being higher. The pump from start production was a Denso part and can be accessed via a removable access panel under the rear seats. On all Evoras up to the 400 series cars, the pump can be removed through this access hole in the floor, just about. Unfortunately, on the 400 series cars, a higher rate pump from Bosch was fitted, which means you have to remove the tank to replace this. Labour time for a pump replacement is about 4.5 hours. Fuel pressure should run at about 3.2 to 3.5 bar. Right, we'll have a look at the seats now. On the introduction of the Evora in 2009, the cars were fitted with nice Recaros, which I thought were extremely comfortable. Recaro would not supply Lotus bare frames for our trim shop to cover and only supplied complete seats. Now the Evora was marketed as a 2+2 and had rear seats. Well, they look like rear seats but are no good whatsoever for adults. I took a ride in the back of an Evora from Hethel to Longwater. To say it was uncomfortable is an understatement. All of these trim panels are secured with a variety of screws of different length, metal and plastic clips that will ping off and get lost or will break. Add some Velcro that will stick to itself and not the panels, and it's all a bit of a poorly designed setup in my opinion. Should your battery go flat, you need to connect power. Lotus have thoughtfully placed a manual release handle under the rear seat on the right hand side to open the tailgate. When you first see this, it will look like it's been pulled out already. Always pull the cable in the direction of the outer. If you tug it in any other way, it may not work and can jam the cable. If it doesn't work first time, gently push the cable back into the outer and try again. It's not the best engineered solution, but it should work. Now some of you will know that there is a fuse box located in the left hand side at the rear. There is an access panel, but to be honest, it's about as much use as a chocolate teapot. Access to the fuses is, to say the least, difficult. If the car is an automatic, then you will find the TCU has been piggybacked onto the ECU, making it even more difficult. If you need to access the fuses, relays or control units for diagnostic work, you will need to remove the complete rear quarter trim panel. Marks out of 10 for Lotus design? Just 1 I think, for thinking to put an access panel in there in the first place, but not really giving it much practical thought. The door panels, although again look nice, were a bit complex in the construction, made up of several panels screwed, clipped or stuck together with no less than 51 screws, washers, clips and tape etc, and the fit and finish was not, I would call, high quality. Let's have a look at the dash now. This was a big step up from the Elise of the time. We'll start with the steering wheel and work forward. Lotus went with a flat bottom design, which were on trend at that time. Matt Becker wanted the wheel to be light for good feel, so it is made of magnesium to achieve this. It's a comfortable wheel, but unfortunately, if you have cruise control, the switches contained in the steering wheel are not illuminated, which I always thought was a bit odd, because at night you want to see those switches. The column stalks for the indicator and wipers are lifted from a 1998 Ford Focus, as is the steering column and ignition switch. That's why the Evora has got that lovely Ford Focus ignition key. Not very good for a car costing upwards of £88,000 now. Now onto the fascia itself. This is where Lotus spent a little bit more money. The switches were bespoke to the Evora, made of metal and illuminated. Nice, but obscured by the steering wheel and all the same size, so function selection wasn't too good. Go to switch on your lights and open the fuel filler by mistake. There were a couple of ergonomic mistakes on the Evora, and that's one of them. The other is the electric mirror adjuster, which is a proton part and placed in front of the driver's door pull handle, which makes it very difficult to operate. The HVAC controls are bespoke as well, but no automatic climate control. The instrumentation was another bespoke item to the Evora. This was supplied by a company called Pectron, a British electronics company. Here again it all looked nice with its separate LCD screens, but the angle it was mounted meant it suffered nasty reflections on the LCD screens. This component is not serviceable, and if it goes wrong you replace it at about £1,000. Now the entertainment system chosen was an Alpine and an off-the-shelf item, double DIN unit with GPS. Not very high end, but it looked okay. Radio reception on early cars was, shall we say, not very good. This was probably due to the Lotus decision to mount what was an internal mast type antenna into the A-pillar inside the car. Not too sure how that got passed for production, but needless to say it was replaced early on with a flexible type of covert antenna under the dash, supplied by a company called Wallen here in the UK, and it worked much better. Now moving on to the dash fascia panel, itself another complicated multiple panel item. Like the door panel, made up of several panels, screwed, clipped or stuck together with no less than 80 screws, washer clips and tape. It also suffered some problems. Early cars had stitch joint line on the front edge where it meets the windscreen. Due to the heat build-up in that area, the leather would shrink and tear the joint apart. A running change rectified it by removing that joint and trimming all in one piece. Another trim problem was the passenger airbag cover shrinking and warping and popping the clips. This was another heat related issue and also the wrong type of leather chosen. Again rectified by a running change using different leather and adhesives. These problems cost the warranty department a lot of money. Now you may think I'm being overcritical, but all of these issues really should not have occurred if the car had been through, shall we say, a more thorough development period and tested in hot climates as well as humid ones. Instead of releasing the car and letting the customers find these things out at their inconvenience. It doesn't make the brand look good, so I certainly hope the new Evora has been tested very thoroughly in all climates before its release. As it's supposed to be a world car, it would be unforgivable if it suffered the same type or similar problems. So that's the original Evora critiqued. Now let's have a look and see if things changed on the 400 series cars. Did the 400 series car get a new tub, as it was the all-new supercar from Lotus, and the media blurb says a new aluminium chassis? So was it? No, just a modified original. A modified lowered sill and the footwell was opened up. Now the seats, yes, these were all new. Recaro were dropped in favour of Sparco, and US market cars get a side airbag built into the seat. But these seats were not without their problems early on. The seat backrest release strap would break, so it means you couldn't tip the seat down. They also creaked and they clicked. Seats were modified as a running change to rectify these noises by eliminating leather to leather contact in seat back and cushion area. Cushion pan to frame bolts were modified and a modified seat frame was fitted. Service bulletins were issued to rectify these problems. The interior got a complete refresh. The 2+2 got new rear seats. Well, I say new rear seats. What I mean is they got some leather covered foam, velcro to the carpet, which gave it a bit more room in the back, but still not a pleasant place for an adult to sit. As in the earlier Evora, the emergency release cable is located under the rear seat on the right hand side. It still looks like it's been pulled out, but treat it like the earlier one and only pull in the direction of the cable, which this time is facing forwards. Was access improved to the rear fuse box? No. Exactly the same as the previous Evora and the same removable panel size, in fact the same cover, even the part number. So again, any diagnostic work you will need to remove the complete rear quarter trim panel. The door panels, although again look nice, were a bit complex in the construction, made up of several panels, screwed, clipped or stuck together with 62 screws, washers, clips and tapes. This time the fit and finish was improved. The door grab handle cover was not brilliant fit, a little bit gappy, but okay. If you have to remove the door panel for any reason, be careful when you do. If you pull it out too far at the bottom, it will break off the locating tabs on top of the panel, then the panel is very loose. While we're on the doors, the sills and window sills are not what I would call premium. When you look closely, you can see where bits are glued together. The original Evora did suffer water leaks, well, it is a Lotus after all, but not as bad as some earlier Lotus cars. So was the sealing changed for the 400? No, carryover seals from the 12 model year Evora. So let's have a look at the dash now. Some quite drastic changes here. We'll start with the steering wheel again. Same wheel, simply different covers and trim. Leather, Alcantara, stuff like that. The column stalks for the indicator and wipers are still from a 1998 Ford Focus, as are the steering column and ignition switch, and it's still got that lovely Ford Focus ignition key. The instrument pack is all new and still made by Pectron, I believe. I think it's an improvement on the old one, but I think Lotus missed an opportunity to go fully digital. It's still not serviceable and it will cost you about £1,000 to replace it. The fascia again is made up of multiple panels, all held together with over 100 screws, washers, clips and tape, but it did look a bit better executed than previously. And it can be removed as a complete assembly. This is reflected in the labour times for removal. To remove the original dash and fascia, the book time says nearly 3 hours, and the 400 series drops to 2 hours, and it can be done in that time because I've done it. Most of this time is saved by having all the wiring actually integrated into the dash instead of fixing it to the scuttle underneath the dash. It got some bespoke switches in the middle above the updated Alpine unit. The same Proton door mirror control moves from the door to the dash next to the light switch, which is from a Vauxhall Corsa. A start button is added, but it's only a start button, not a stop button. You've still got to use the key to switch it off. The HVAC controls get a makeover, but still no automatic climate control. Face level vents get an update, courtesy of a Ford Fiesta of the time. The electrically operated glove box release on the original gets replaced with a manual release handle. Right, so that's the middle section of the Evora looked at and the main differences between original and 400 series. There are many minor differences too numerous to mention, but would you consider this an all-new sports car? To me it was just a facelifted Evora, and the all-new statement came from the marketing department, no doubt under instruction from the CEO at the time. In the next episode I'll be looking at the front end from the windscreen forward and its contents, going from the original Evora up to the 400 series. Thank you for watching, and thanks to the people who have signed up to the Lotus Guru on Patreon. I really do appreciate your support, one and all. So until the next time, keep liking, subscribing, and above all, take care. So from the Lotus Guru, it's so long.